Exams for Toronto high school students.
I was initially very shocked because I had already sort of started to think about how these online exams was going to work.
Several school boards, including the TDSB, are canceling finals this year. How students and teachers are reacting to the decision. Plus,
people are still coming into York region and potentially spreading that into other areas. That's the biggest concern.
growing concerns in communities just outside Toronto and Peel. Could more regions see a return to restrictions as those in COVID hotspots flock to their facilities? And a very special delivery. The Toronto Catholic District School Board receives thousands of new shoes for students in need. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. There will be no exams for thousands of high school students. Some Ontario school boards are opting out of the traditional finals. That includes the TDSB as well as the Peel District School Board. The Ministry of Education says it wants to give boards more flexibility when it comes to assessing students during the pandemic. Angelina King has more.
There's a flood of messages to the class chats celebrating, yay, we don't have an exam this year.
But grade 12 student Isaac Rosenberg wasn't one of them. At first, he was shocked.
But then after it sort of settled in, I got a little disappointed because I realized even though it's no one looks forward to exams, I know personally that during that exam period, the days leading up to the exams, that's when I learned the most about the course.
You want exams this year?
Yeah, I think so, because I think not only would it just better my learning, but that would also sort of help for university.
The TDSB says it's canceling final exams for quadmesters 1 and 2. No decision yet on quads 3 and 4. Instead, final marks will be based on coursework and an end of quad assessment. In a statement, the board says the decision is based on the exceptional circumstance with the pandemic and the complexities of running exams in both a virtual and in-person setting.
I got "Are you kidding me?" But then I got another worry from a student said, "Oh no, I won't be able to graduate."
This grade 12 English teacher says she wants all students to know they will be able to graduate and teachers will ensure they're prepared for the future.
My course would have been a culminating activity for that 30%. But now what I'm doing is I'm absorbing that into the 100% course, and it will be done with shorter quizzes and tests throughout the course, as well as other demonstrated means of learning.
The move brings up the conversation about whether timed final exams are the best way to assess students who all learn differently.
Yeah, I hope we are learning from this, and I hope that it allows in new thinking about grades, about how we're marking, and about what we're marking for.
Meanwhile, Rosenberg says while exams may not be a perfect assessment, he wants to make up for missing them.
But at least now I've been thinking about ways myself I can sort of go outside of school to make sure I really don't miss out on anything.
As for those designated exam days, that doesn't mean a day off for students. Instead, they'll include instructional time and give students the opportunity to catch up on any work or assignments that they've missed. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
After Ontario's record-breaking 939 new COVID-19 infections on Friday, the province reporting a slight dip over the long weekend, with just under 750 new cases reported on Sunday and slightly more than 800 yesterday.
It looks like we're plateauing around that low 700s, some blips up and down. That may be encouraging. Still early to see that are we in fact plateauing and leveling the curve.
Many experts also say it's too soon to talk about a plateau. This chart shows the average daily number of new cases, which they say gives a more accurate picture than the day-to-day fluctuations. As you can see, the recent numbers are trending upward, showing no signs of plateauing at all. Testing is also a factor. The number of tests completed on Sunday and Monday was down significantly, which could explain the lower numbers. And there are growing concerns tonight in communities surrounding Toronto and Peel. Both saw a return to a modified stage 2 after a sharp rise in COVID cases. That included the closure of gyms. But the worry now is the surge of people traveling from those hotspots to nearby communities where fitness centers are still open. Chris Glover has more.
It's 5:56 and the lineup.
Before sunrise and throughout the day, a huge line at this LA Fitness gym in Markham and a huge departure from normal.
Typically, you just walk right in as soon as it's open. Last few days, ever since the Toronto shutdown happened from Saturday, it's been lineups around the corner.
Avo Perjanian worries the added demand is Toronto members potentially bringing the virus with them.
To have people from other locations that are at high risk of COVID, obviously, come to a place like a gym where you have sweat and easy risk of it being transferred from one person to another, it's a risk to my family.
A Hamilton spin class is now blamed for a large outbreak infecting roughly 50 people, despite following safety precautions. When Toronto and Peel regions reintroduced new COVID restrictions shuttering indoor gyms, those LA Fitness members had memberships frozen.
However, all it takes for someone to unfreeze their membership is to scan in at a club that is available to them.
A manager at the Markham facility says there's no protocol to stop people from Toronto coming here to work out.
It's a very easy loophole to get around from these members.
We asked LA Fitness for an on-camera interview but never heard back. Other franchise gyms like Good Life and Orange Theory tell CBC they will not allow people from Toronto or Peel.
We actually catch these people ahead of time.
Markham's Orange Theory gym is currently blocking out-of-towners from even booking in.
The main thing is that we do our part in terms of flattening the curve, keeping everyone safe.
Markham's mayor says LA Fitness should follow suit. He says it's about corporate responsibility.
And I find it, and again, if in fact this is true, if in fact it's happening, I find it absolutely ridiculous that a company that's in business promoting health and good lifestyles is in fact going against that very philosophy by welcoming people from other regions.
The Premier has no plans to make it happen by law.
So I'm just praying we don't have to expand this and everyone just keep following the protocols and let's get these numbers down.
Perjanian says unless his gym is forced to, it'll keep accepting people from higher risk areas.
The fact that, they're not taking it seriously and they're sort of brushing it off and they're okay with loopholes, it's not okay.
And no matter who is in this line, the manager inside this LA Fitness shop says that everyone inside is safe and they are strictly enforcing mask protocols and physical distancing rules. Chris Glover, CBC News, Markham.
Your hydro bill will soon be going up. Fixed pricing is coming to an end on November 1st. That's when time of use price will once again come into effect. It means the average hydro customer will be paying about $2 more a month. The rates will also affect small businesses. Time of use electricity pricing was scrapped for residential bills during the pandemic, with one price set for all hours of the day. And Porter Airlines has once again pushed back its date in resuming operations. That means its flights will stay grounded until at least mid-December. The airline stopped flying on March 21st at the onset of the pandemic. Its president and CEO says coronavirus outbreaks in some markets like Toronto have dampened expectations to restart next month. He says the hope is new measures such as rapid testing will help get them back in business. The airline is waiving its cancellation fees on all bookings through December 15th. Peel police have released new video of a brazen assault on a gas station attendant in Mississauga in July. Now, in it, you can see two men enter the gas station at Eglinton Avenue east of Tompkin Road. The pair take a selfie at the back of the store, and then seconds later, one of them charges towards the front counter with a lit Roman candle. Several balls of fire can be seen flying at the attendant. It lasts for about 15 seconds before the two suspects are seen leaving the store.
Thankfully, the injuries were only minor, but anything, this could have changed his entire life. He could have lost an eye. He could have suffered extreme injuries because of this. So the reckless endangerment that these young males put this victim in is inexcusable.
On Sunday, Peel police arrested 21-year-old Mohammed Mumim of Toronto. Police allege he's the one with the cell phone recording the other suspect. He's been charged with assault with a weapon, mischief endangering life, and forcible confinement. Police are still looking for the other man who was holding the fireworks. Yearbooks are being recalled at a Pickering high school after a racist insult was published inside. Now, the victim's aunt posted this snippet of the St. Mary Catholic Secondary School yearbook to Facebook. It shows her nephew's tribute message to his late grandmother replaced with a racist message. His original yearbook entry read, "Rest in peace, Grandma. Thank you for guiding me through my 4 years of high school." Instead, it was changed to a racist comment referencing a gorilla that got shot at a Cincinnati zoo. All students have now been ordered to return their yearbooks.
Honestly, disgusting behavior. Like stuff like this, it's sad to see to happen to that student. And he was honestly a great student. He got lots of awards for his athletic abilities, and to see this happen is just sad.
I am surprised that, because like the guy was a really good guy. Like he was always like really kind and everything. So I don't know like why somebody would like target to him directly.
Horrifying, and like it's very wrong. It shouldn't be happening at this school.
The school has launched a formal investigation with Durham Regional Police. The school's principal says the post was malicious and hurtful, and those responsible will be held accountable and be subject to disciplinary action. Well, dozens of small business owners are accusing insurance companies of driving them out of business. Taxi drivers have parked their vehicles, claiming they're unable to pay skyrocketing rates, while a moving company says new demands from their insurer have idled their trucks and forced them to lay off employees. John Lancaster has those details.
So you're the driver then?
Yes, I am.
In the middle of a pandemic, Karina Shack had to upgrade her basic G driver's license to a so-called D-level trucker's license in order to help save the family moving business.
I'm 65 years old. I had cancer.
It was a demand the insurer made this year, despite it being perfectly legal in Ontario to drive the moving trucks with the basic G license. Her husband, Frank Hunt, co-owns the business.
In the ministry's book says a G license is capable of driving that truck. And other companies are driving that type of a truck with a G license. But we can't.
When the couple tried to cancel their commercial vehicle insurance and move to another insurer, they found out their premiums would more than double. They say they've had no claims since opening the business more than 5 years ago. With only one D license between them, 3 of their 4 trucks sit idle. Business has plummeted. Staff have been laid off.
They're killing our business. We cannot continue if they do this to us.
They're not alone. At Toronto's Beck Taxi, more than 500 taxis have been parked. Drivers no longer able to afford insurance rates that have doubled, even tripled in some cases.
It's about 500 vehicles, 500 small businesses that are parked, and that means out of business until this issue is resolved, until something comes up to help them.
Adana Mogas is one of those cabbies. After 20 years behind the wheel, he's wondering what will happen next.
It's not fair, because I'm 60 years old. I don't know where I'm going. Some insurance company even told me go to work to McDonald's. Tim Hortons.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada says many insurers are reevaluating how much risk they want to take on as costs exceed premiums. It also blames COVID-19. A survey of Bureau members projects that between March 1st and June 30th, insurers offered just over $1 billion in personal and commercial insurance premium relief, according to Vanessa Barassa of the IBC. Dan Kelly of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business isn't buying it.
We were already seeing signs of insurance premium increases prior to COVID-19. This seems to be a continuation and acceleration of that trend.
Not a penny.
Back at Hunt Family Movers, they say they didn't get any COVID-19 insurance relief and continue to pay full premiums even though most of their fleet sits idled. John Lancaster, CBC News, Toronto.
Remember, if you have a story you'd like us to look into, send us an email, torontotips@cbc.ca. The City of Toronto is increasing efforts to combat anti-Chinese racism, launching a campaign in collaboration with the Chinese-Canadian National Council. This comes after a new report showed a sharp rise in racist incidents targeting Chinese Canadians since the start of the pandemic. Talia Ricci reports.
I used to think Toronto is a very welcoming and safe city.
That's changed since March, when this Toronto lawyer had to go so far as to come up with a plan for when she leaves her house.
My family and I, we would talk about how to protect ourselves in case of an incident. We would always have our phone on our hand in case we have to video shoot, how to record anything. And we're practicing how to speak up.
Rude remarks in public and parents moving their children away from her in an elevator are just some of the things she's experienced. A report by the Chinese-Canadian National Council found that more than 600 incidents of anti-East Asian racism have been reported since the emergence of COVID-19.
Nearly a third of the reported incidents involved some sort of assault, like spitting or even physical violence. And across Canada during the pandemic, more than a quarter of the incidents happened here in Toronto.
I'm saddened, but not that surprised. It feels different than many other times in our lives growing up here in this city.
Gary Yee applauds the city for trying to address it through a campaign called Toronto for All.
It is the disrespect, the despise.
Past campaigns in the series have included advertisements on public transit and online educational materials that cover actions to combat racism.
Anti-East Asian racism has no place in our Toronto. Will you be an ally?
Go back to China where you came from.
This video showing a man yelling racist insults in a grocery store in Mississauga is just one of many that have made the rounds online in the last few months. But Yee says the impact is deeper than what we see on our screens.
Those are some really compelling and upsetting stories. But it's the other things that we also have to be worried about, just the impact on our psyche as a person living here in Toronto.
An impact that can be alleviated by following Chi's simple advice.
I hope people can understand that we're all suffering from the pandemic and we're all trying to recover from this together, and just be more kind and check their own bias themselves.
Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
A little weather system sneaking through tonight. I'm meteorologist Colette Kennedy, but by tomorrow we should have a beautiful day on tap. All your details coming up after the break.
It's a mild evening and partly cloudy after a day of sunshine. Colette's here now with a look at the forecast. Hopefully she has some good news. Colette, I have my fingers crossed for more sunshine.
Thank you, Kelda. Well, I can't promise you exactly the same weather conditions as we had today, but in general, if you kind of liked what we had today, we have a similar pattern in terms of what's coming up for Wednesday, midweek. So lovely conditions, temperatures above seasonal, and we're going to have some nice sunshine coming back our way as well. But by the time we get towards Thursday, yeah, you see it there, some windier conditions and also wet weather coming our way, and a cool shot is headed this way too, and that's coming closer towards the end of the week. So we'll show you that in the 5-day forecast coming up. Some of the daytime highs unofficial, but from earlier today up to almost 20 degrees back towards Windsor, and some lovely upper teens as well to go around the GTA, unofficially 18 for Toronto. So some lovely conditions there. And this is what's going on through the overnight hours, is that we've got a disturbance that's coming through. You can see some of the cloud cover coming through the GTA, some of the wet conditions up towards Lake Huron and around Georgian Bay. Now, some of these showers, a few just isolated ones, may make their way down towards the northern shore of Lake Ontario. So that's through the overnight hours. And then really, most of it does stay north, and most of the cloud cover is gone by the time we get towards morning. And that's why the setup for Wednesday is similar to Tuesday in terms of some blue sky and sunshine to go around. We will see those winds kind of turning westerly, a little bit breezy at times, but really a west-southwesterly flow is going to be pretty good for us. So Wednesday's looking good, but then the next system coming through, and what happens is late tomorrow we'll start to see clouds increasing. So think late afternoon towards the evening hours. Now as this comes through into Thursday, in the early morning we could get some light showers, but the more steady rain likely to come in and fill in as we get into the afternoon on Thursday. So be prepared for that. There'll likely be some breaks in precipitation in between, not necessarily breaks in the cloud cover, but the temperature is still looking mild into Thursday. The cold air comes in behind that system, so into Friday. Overnight tonight, 5s for your lows into southwestern Ontario. The 5s have it. 17 for the highs tomorrow, other than London, 16, and still looking like some sunshine there with some increasing cloudiness. Overnight tonight, a low around 8, a slim chance for some showers hitting you towards Markham, Mississauga, slight risk. It'll be very, very light in nature. Looking good for tomorrow afternoon with that high. Still a few degrees, about 3 degrees above seasonal for those daytime highs. This is what I mean by still mild, might even be a little bit warmer than this even into Thursday with that push above the front or ahead of the front, but then into Friday, it's Friday night, I'm most concerned, where we could see some really cool temperatures coming in. But then, hey, Kelda, into the weekend, we rebound with our highs going back to seasonal. So not so bad.
All right, I like that. Thanks, Colette.
The weather is brought to you by Trane, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. We test, so it runs. It's hard to stop a train.
The Toronto Catholic District School Board received a special delivery recently in the form of over 5,000 pairs of shoes to be distributed to children in need. Take a look.
I'm David Beecroft. I'm the country manager for Skechers Canada, and we're here today to donate 5,000 pairs of shoes to the Toronto Catholic District School Board with the help of DSW Canada, Kids Up Front, and Souls for Souls Canada. Today we're going to be donating some clogs, 5,000 pairs of clogs that are amazing because they're very durable. Kids can grow into them. They're multi-season. They're a lot of fun and they're easy to clean. So it's a really versatile shoe. Fits kids anywhere from kindergarten to grade 6.
Of course, you know that right now during COVID, a lot of families are struggling economically, and we think that even with giving a pair of shoes to kids in need will help those families a little bit at this time.
DSW and Designer Brands have been partnering with Souls for Souls for almost 3 years now. And across our North American DSW stores, we've collected more than 3.5 million donations of shoes from our customers, which is very exciting for us.
So today, our partner is the Toronto Catholic District School Board, and they have identified schools where children will really, really appreciate a brand new pair of shoes. And yeah, they're one of our many partners and a partner that we love to do work with.
We're actually very thankful. It's extremely generous. You know, in these hard times with COVID, it's very uplifting to the community, and we're just very grateful. Thank you so much.
And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.